everyone, and welcome to the RMTV Women's Podcast. This is episode 74. And, well, we'll just go straight in.
Oh,
because we've
straight
got no
in.
kick-off question.
My kick-off question was if you could live anywhere in the world, in the city, in the world.
Well, you've already asked me that.
I've already asked, but like, you can repeat on the same thing.
Orlando.
Why?
Florida.
Florida.
It's just the best. It's just my favourite place. I just love when we go there. So
would you?
It's just really nice. It's always sunny. It's nice and warm.
Yeah.
So everyone just seems happy.
Yeah.
So
that's nice.
Where would you live?
I would live. Oh, it's actually quite hard.
Oh my God, you've been thinking about this for about 15 minutes.
Maybe like Sydney. In
Sydney.
Australia. I'd love to live in Australia. Yeah, I'd take the whole fam with me, so like it's fine.
Okay.
But I'd like to live in Sydney or like Melbourne, Brisbane, but definitely Sydney.
You've just named like the whole of Australia.
I really just want to go to Australia. I think it'd be a good time. And Sam
Yeah.
cares from Australia, so like, I might see her.
I mean, she definitely plays for Chelsea now, so you don't.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Where would you live, Ben?
Would I live?
Any city.
Boston. Boston was really fit in the summer.
Solid shot.
Was it warm?
Yeah, it was hotter than the fucking sun.
Stifling.
Or San Francisco was nice.
Yeah. San
You know,
Francisco
one on
is
each
nice.
coast.
You get the best of both worlds in San
Wake
Francisco
me
because it's really
up
cold at
in
one point, but then it's really
San
hot as well when you get like in the peak of the day. So
Peak of the day.
peak of the day, do you know what I
Wow,
mean?
What a good time.
But yeah,
That's a new segment. What's the peak of
what's
the
the peak of the day?
Peak of the
Yeah.
day.
Coming soon.
Wow. Okay. LFC played Blackburn over the weekend.
they
And then
now?
they did. We were
Wow.
there. We went. We made the journey down.
I
Took
managed
us-
to get us there safely.
Yeah, it took us like half an hour, 40 minutes. Wasn't
Something
it
like that.
long?
There was literally
Yeah.
no one on the road.
We were there
Fab.
like an hour and a half before kick-off.
Went for a Mackey's as you do.
Yeah. But that's 2 wins on the bounce for Liverpool now. I don't think that's happened this season.
I feel like a new woman.
That definitely hasn't happened this season so far.
No.
So like to have 2 podcasts on the bounce so we can sit here with a smile and say Liverpool won a game like is really nice.
And in the manner that we won it as well.
Yeah,
like.
well the final score was 8-1. So like
Yeah.
it wasn't just, it was basically a walk in the park for us.
It was, with all respect.
With all respect to Blackburn, we have faced them in the County Cup early on in the season and that was 6-0. So we were sort of expecting like a similar result.
Mhm.
We were expecting to win anyway. So to, go 2 better is really nice. Babajide got 4 on the day. She was on
Unreal.
fire. She could have had more actually.
She was just like, she was so quick that they just couldn't, their
Yeah.
fullbacks and defenders just could not keep up with it.
Yeah.
And when you go into games like this, and obviously we've got loads of games coming up as well, if you can score 4 goals in the Conti Cup, how like cloud 9 you're going to feel going
Yeah.
into the next few games, and obviously with it being Birmingham as well, who were in a similar position in the table, who were also in the relegation battle.
Yeah.
It's so important that you sort of build that confidence, and not only just Babajide's probably, but the whole team, like the whole way that they all like pitch together.
Yeah.
It was just like nice to watch.
Yeah.
And like sometimes because every game is a must-win game in the league at the moment, it's nice to be like, oh well, I didn't feel stressed watching it. I
No.
didn't feel like, oh, we need to get like a late winner or whatever. Like
Yeah.
it didn't feel like that. But like we were so good in the FA Cup last year as well. Obviously going out to City, obviously.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think it was a good marker as well.
Yeah, definitely. Charles picked up a goal, Fahy got one, Linnet got one, and then there was an own goal. I'm not sure who. Apologies, don't know. But like Charles getting on the score sheet, that's building her confidence as well. isn't it?
She's our top scorer for this season, I think,
Yeah, I think
across
so.
all competitions.
Yeah, and then obviously Kirsty Linnet getting one as well. She was obviously out injured the previous game.
Yeah.
Came on at half time, 45 minutes. She looked sharp, to be fair,
Yeah.
considering she'd missed the match. Gets herself on the score sheet as well. It's just about building confidence
100%.
and considering like we were saying, I think we said it in our post-match reaction, like we've only scored like 4 goals in the league this season, but then you go and win like 8-1
And 6-0 last time.
and
as well.
6-0 last time, and like obviously it's less opposition, but like
Still.
even then you've still got to go and win the games. You know what I mean?
I feel like our problem with the league is that we haven't been. I think this is where it gets frustrating because we haven't been scoring goals in the league, but then you look at the Conti Cup and then look at the FA Cup and you're
Yeah.
like, well, we have scored
Yeah.
goals in those competitions, so why can't we translate that into the league? I don't know whether it's just whether it's a mentality thing that maybe
Possibly.
if they know that they're coming up against someone in the lower league, but then you think we lost against Villa 2-0,
Yeah.
we lost against Sheffield
Sheffield,
United.
yeah.
So I don't really know what the answer is, but I'm just impressed in the sense that that shows to me and the 6-0 that we actually can score goals as a team, we can work
Yeah.
hard, and then the final ball and then the final like string into the net is
Yeah.
possible. But I just think it's all very well us winning 8-1 in the Women's
Yeah.
FA Cup, like that's absolutely like brilliant, well over the moon with it. But I think also focus needs to be on the league, because there is a possibility at the end of the season we could be relegated, and I think you've got the key there. It's just now using it in the league
Yeah.
as well as trying to progress as far as possible in the FA Cup.
Yeah, and it's also like good, like to note, like you're not just relying on your one person to score your goals. Like obviously,
Exactly, yeah.
Rins gets 4, but Charles gets 1, Farhi gets 1, Lynette gets 1. Other people have scored throughout the season. Like you're not just exactly.
coming in,
Like,
yeah.
you're not just relying on like your centre forward to get all your goals for you. Like there is
100%.
other areas on the pitch.
It's
where
a good
people
like
can score.
variety of
Yeah,
people.
exactly. We had the centre back partnership of Rube and Farhi.
Yeah.
They've actually done that before this season.
Yeah. We haven't
So it
seen it
wasn't
too
like-
often. I think I was thinking that's the first Liverpool game since Brad has signed
Yeah.
that she's not played in.
Oh really?
The first game, yeah, which is
Oh, wow.
crazy. Obviously she was injured, but I think like touching on Leanne Robe, like she's obviously grown up as a centre back player, sometimes played on the right or the left. She had to come into this team and only play on either side.
Yeah.
But I think it's really good that we have a player like that. So for example, if Bradders is out injured, she can come in and feel right at home with it, sort of thing. Like she didn't look uncomfortable throughout any of that.
no.
But sometimes if you've been playing in a certain position and you come back into the other one,
You're a bit like
it takes a bit of time to adapt. But each time she's putting on the left, she's putting on the right, she's putting in the middle. Like
Yeah.
she's one of those players that can fill the gap where it needs to be filled and have a brilliant performance from it.
Yeah, and like you said, like she obviously signed as a centre back, played left back for us because we didn't have a left back. Then Satara Murray left. She went right back because Gemma Pearfield signed to play left back. And then she switched back over to left back now because Becky Jane's come in and Pearfield's
It's
been
like
injured. And it's
mad.
like she hasn't been in one position for like a long period of time.
That's credit to her though,
Yeah.
and her mentality of. I think the thing with Robe when she came here last season and we interviewed her,
Yeah.
she just wants to play football. She doesn't care where it is on the pitch. She just wants to be on the pitch
Yeah.
and like contributing for the team. Because I think out of everyone, obviously she's come from the
Yeah, she signed
championship
from
team.
Millwall, didn't she?
So out of everyone, obviously lots of them did come up from there, but she was from Millwall, who were pretty much down the table,
Yeah.
and to have the opportunity to come up to the top tier and play week in, week out.
she was well
she'll-
up for it.
Yeah, she's the one that I think's worked not. They've all worked hard to get where they are,
Yeah.
but in my view, she's the one that's. You can just see on the pitch, for example, after the warm-ups are finished, she stays out and does a few more touches with one of the
Yeah.
coaches before she goes in, and it's like she puts so much effort and
Yeah.
preparation into being ready on the pitch in
Yeah.
the best physical condition as well.
Yeah.
Like she's just brilliant.
Yeah. I agree. Ashley Hodgson played right back for this game.
Mhm.
Now that's not something we haven't seen before this season. She actually played left back when we played Blackburn in the Conti Cup. I think it was only for the second half though.
Mhm.
But like, well, we seen her during the warm up, didn't we? And she looked like she took a knock. And we were thinking, oh no, like
We didn't have any of the defenders.
we didn't have
bearing
any
in
of the
mind.
defenders literally like down to the bare bones for this game. So it was like, oh, she's going to have to play. But then you're also thinking, well, if she plays through it, is she going to injure herself for like 3-4 weeks? Like, is she going to be out the rest of the season? Like, you don't know. But then you watch her throughout the whole game, she didn't look like she was carrying a knock at all.
No.
Like, she was
She
amazing.
wasn't. It was just a
No,
little
it was
thing.
but it must have just been like a little niggle or something like that. But she was unbelievable. Like, all of her challenges were perfectly
She made a
timed.
Belter of a few slight
yeah,
tackles. I was
like she was never out of position, because normally if you get like say if you're playing someone in a position they've never played in before, like right back or left back, they sort of still try and venture into their position because that's all they know. But like she only plays up front for us. But to have someone who can play centre forward playing right back is like amazing. Like it shows like the versatility of some players that we have.
I think a lot of that we spoke about it in the match reaction, but a lot of that was to do with the fact that she's got Fahy next to her.
Yeah.
Who's constantly in her ear saying, Ash drop, Ash go up, blah, 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 blah.
That's where like Fahy and Robe worked well together because they're normally on the left with each other. Because obviously Bradley Olsen plays the right centre back. So Robe and Fahy are always talking to each other as well because they're always overlapping each other, covering for each other. So that's probably why when you put them together centre back, it works just as well.
I didn't put it on here, but I wanted to talk about fairness at the moment because I said to you, this is no sly on anyone by the way, but I said, I don't know why we signed her. Like, I know she was a really good player, but I was like, in my opinion, this is probably why she didn't go there because it's probably wrong, but I thought we needed a striker or a forward player. I didn't think midfield was an area that we needed to target that much because we transformed Kirsty into that number 10.
Yeah, we had Bailey, Roberts, Rogers, Christy Murray,
yeah,
Mel Lawley can play there.
Yeah, we had a lot of options for it, so I was like, oh. But I tell you what, since he's come in, we do play differently.
She's made a massive difference.
She drops in so deep and then brings it up, but then hangs around if she needs it again further up sort of thing. And then the amount of time she could have scored because she's that one player who's on the edge of the box, so if the defender makes a problem or if the defender makes an error or whatever, she's there to sort of clean it up and take a shot at goal. And I think the most important thing that she brings is the experience. Like, we have a lot of players in our team who aren't WSL 1 players through and through in terms of they've not played in it very long.
They played for like a season or two.
Yeah, it'll be 2 seasons now. So to have someone who's been in it for as long as she has and picks up the experience that she's had, I think it was mainly at Reading, it kind of shows when she plays and she kind of makes players around her play better as well. Obviously, getting her first goal a few weeks ago when we were really needing her to, that nice side volley. Was it Bristol, wasn't it?
Bristol, yeah.
Getting that goal put her in my good book straight away, to be honest.
Yeah, she was instantly a hero for us.
Yeah, but then I just think I understand now why she was brought in, and I'm more than happy to say that I was wrong in thinking, why have we brought her in? I'm more than happy to say that.
Well, it was the same with Becky Jane, because you think to yourself, we didn't really need a right back at the time, because you had Perfield and Robe as like your right and left backs. But then obviously Perfield got injured for a bit. But then you're seeing as soon as Becky Jane went into that position, she was exactly the same, having been in the WSL for so long with Redden herself. Like she just, it made our back four that much more calmer. Because your back five realistically, you can include both goalkeepers, is like all experienced in the league now. They've all played there. And they've all played for like a couple of years.
And they all bring something different.
Exactly.
That's what they all work really well together. Yeah. But I think everyone that Vicky herself has brought in has turned out.
It's done a
obviously,
job.
Mel Lawley we know speaks for herself. Fairness we've just talked about.
Yeah.
Obviously we've not seen much about Riley yet.
No.
We need to talk about that actually. I didn't write that down, but we'll do that. Becky Jane, obviously, Bailey has all come in, and they've all had a really positive impact on the team.
Yeah.
I think it's taken a while for some of them to settle in, I won't lie. Maybe that's sort of why we're in the position that we're in, because it's taken a bit longer.
Yeah.
But I think onwards and upwards now, really. That's all you can expect, and hopefully get a result out of Birmingham and keep building the pressure on the teams that are around us to then go down.
100%, because I'm going to be doing the build-up tomorrow with Craig from the Great Since
98?
68, I think it is.
Something like that.
Yes. Yeah, podcast. So I'll be doing that with him tomorrow. So that'll be out Friday. So we'll like proper go into detail about like build up for Birmingham and stuff like that. But it is a must-win game. It's exactly the same as Bristol, because it's us, Bristol, Birmingham, where Brighton. Those 4 teams are all in the same position. And if we don't forget, we've got a game in hand as well, because we didn't play United. So you've still got to play them whenever that fixture.
I wonder when that will get announced, actually.
Exactly. So, but we've got a big few weeks up ahead of us, because you've got Arsenal, you've got Everton, then you've got Arsenal, and we play City, I think.
Chelsea in the
Chelsea
FA
in the
Cup
cup,
now.
like
But another thing is we've seen Perfield and Clark back now. So
Yeah.
that's good for going into these run of fixtures. Obviously, Perfield gets 90 minutes. I thought she was good. There were at times where you could tell she'd been out for a while,
yeah, I think towards the end she was getting
yeah.
a bit like
which is understandable. She was
Yeah.
out for a good few months. I had
yeah,
surgery and all that
Yeah.
stuff, so could understand that. But you're getting players back now. Hopefully, Kitchen won't be out for too much longer. But now we've brought in another, so it's okay.
yeah.
Not too sure what's wrong with Roberts or Christy Murray. Don't know
No,
anything
nothing was
about that.
mentioned, was there?
But yeah,
Or
things are
Becky
looking.
Jane, 'cause she was out injured as well.
Yeah, hopefully it won't be too bad. Hopefully they'll all be drafted in
Yeah, I think we should be fine.
for Sunday. Fingers crossed. News.
But yeah, like we said, we did get Chelsea in the 5th round. I mean, we could have got a nicer
I
draw.
can't be arsed.
We got City last season, get Chelsea this season. But to be honest though, I know it's away, so that's a little bit different. But when we played them at home,
We did well.
we did really well.
Yeah.
Like to hold that Chelsea side off, like we did really well.
And Sam Kerr won't be involved.
Sam Kerr won't be
So
involved.
even if we do get to go, we won't get to see Sam Kerr, which I'm a
No.
little bit.
Which is like
aggy
what we were
about.
like, oh.
Yeah,
wow.
Chelsea away.
Because we
what?
were even thinking about like going the United Chelsea game tonight, weren't we?
Yeah, still.
Because it's not
wouldn't
that
make it.
far away, but we couldn't have gone anyway, even if we wanted to. But yeah, she wouldn't have been there, so
Darn.
that would have been a waste. But yeah, that'll be an interesting tie. Hopefully, if we get a nice result there. What happens if it's a draw at the end? Is it a replay or does it go to like
Probably I'd go penalties in it.
pens?
Yeah.
Yeah, if it was a replay, I'd be like, oh,
Let us know.
at home. But yeah, Ipswich travel to Man City, which
They're
is
in
like
tier 4.
tier 4, which is like mad.
So they're probably training once a week.
Yeah, of like an
Don't get paid.
of like an evening,
Yeah.
and like
Don't get paid.
hired out on AstroTurf for like 2 hours probably.
Yeah. That is incredible. They did like a live stream of them seeing they got
Buzzing.
City. And then I seen one of the team that was going around on Twitter, and it was like, best moment in my footballing career, getting to go to Man City.
Like they'll get to
But
play
they'll
at
be
like
playing in front of so many people.
yeah, they'll get to play at the Academy Stadium,
Yeah.
like which is like a really nice place. You know what I
They
mean?
just get to experience the facilities.
yeah,
The only issue is, like, obviously it's great that they get to go and experience that, but there was an article went out a few weeks ago, and it was like sometimes in the Women's FA Cup, travelling teams actually lose money. Whereas, for example, when Shrewsbury go to Liverpool next week,
they're gaining
going to be
money.
gaining money,
Yeah,
but the clubs actually lose out on travel,
yeah,
hospitality, because realistically there's not going to be that many travelling fans
Yeah.
going all the way, is
Yeah.
there? But it's one of them where it's amazing for them, but then also I hope it's not going to cost the club any more money than it should.
and I hope they just don't get like battered either.
No.
Because like
There is a
there's a gap in.
yeah.
You can't lie that it is, because City train full time in the best facility
Yeah.
probably in the league,
Some of the best players in
Some
the
of the
English
best
players,
team.
yeah.
in the country, and it's just like there is going to be sort of a gulf in class between the two sides, but like
What an experience.
but how amazing would it be,
What
yeah,
an
to go,
experience.
like just playing that, they'll just be buzzing just for that, they'll
Incredible.
just be so excited for that day. On a bit of a sour note,
Oh,
the Hegerberg, the Lyon forward, Ballon d'Or winner 2018, she's said yesterday, I think it was, that she's ruptured her ACL, and obviously be out for the rest of the season, which is like really like gutting for her.
heartbreaking, isn't it?
It sort of links with an article that went out last week from the Telegraph with Claire Rafferty.
I think it was Susie Rack who wrote it.
Yeah, Claire Rafferty, former England Chelsea player.
And West Ham.
And West Ham, yeah. Went to a university and was tested for all this.
University of Roehampton, I want to say.
Oh,
I think. Just to credit them, because
yeah. And like did all like the tests and stuff like that, which is what
What
Amy's
I'm
doing for
doing.
this at the minute. It's like really interesting actually. But like it's become a big thing, especially this season, because there's been so many.
Oh my God,
like there's been so many.
So many.
Yeah.
I've never known there to be this many.
Yeah, like it's actually ridiculous amounts. I can't remember. They did say somewhere how many there was. I can't remember how many now though. But like, because there's been so many female players getting injured, like especially ACL injuries, they're looking more into it and getting
They've
like.
got to though.
Well-
They've got to, because there's obviously whether it's a biological, mechanical, anatomical reason
Yeah.
why it's happening.
Yeah.
because if you look at, like, I think it's something like women are 2 out of 4 times more likely to get a lower limb injury than men are. There's obviously got to be a reason for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's not just a group of people get one and another group don't. It's like male to female, the ratio of it is so high that there can't not be a reason. Obviously, some of it will be due to chance, due to like the environment,
Just
conditions that you're playing in, what kind of condition your body's in, whether you're warmed up, you're not, sort of things like that. Or even what you're born with, like genetically, some people are just born with weaker tissues or whatever. But the people who are conditioned, like, what's her name, Danielle Carter, for example, she's been conditioned her whole life at Arsenal, and then she goes and suffers 2 ACLs consecutively.
Literally like 2 years.
So there's got to be a reason for it. But I just think, like, bringing out things like this highlights it so much. Like, that article got so many reads, retweets, views and things, because people are starting to realise that the importance of, like, I think it's called screening, where you take someone who's not had an injury and test to see if they're more likely to. So you're testing for injury for someone who's not injured, if that makes sense. So, for example, their leg might be longer. Okay, that gives them a factor to maybe be more at risk of doing it. So I think it's so important that footballers go, female footballers especially, go and get themselves screened, looked at on a better level to sort of like permit it from
But
happening.
the problem is with that is that unless you have, so if, I think it was the next article we're going to talk about, like Man United players have access to Carrington where Man United's men play, but they only have access to that for screening and for testing. Yeah. But the likes of, I don't know, someone in the Championship, Donny Bells, Crystal Palace, they're not going to have, they may not have access to places like that in order to go and get screened and go and get tested.
It goes off their own back or through the NHS.
Exactly. So it's all well and good, it's like saying, oh, this is what female footballers need to be doing, but if that's not accessible, easily accessible for people, then
100%.
The problem's not going to get resolved. Do you know what I mean?
100%. I think for now, like, raising the awareness of it and I think that more than anything that says this is how it could be done, rather than saying it's an issue, we don't know how to solve the issue. It's saying, okay, here's a potential solution that might work. And I think it's important to sort of bring it to the surface. Whether there's actually an association between the two, you don't know unless you test it, but there is raw and enough evidence out there to suggest that it is to do with the female body as a structure, or as it's the hormones they get produced, things like that. So I just think it's so good that it's sort of being addressed as a problem and then given a way of sort of seeing if it works.
It's definitely been on the radar for over a year now, because obviously Jordan Nobbs was like the one who sort of really raised the issue, like in the media and stuff like that. So it's been on everyone's mind since then. And it was a big talking point. So
I think it's good that Claire Rafferty's gone, because she's had 3 ACLs in her life playing football, and to come back from 3
is like unbelievable.
Incredible. So it's good to have someone who's sort of been through it, so she'll care more about it to sort of
like she'll follow that up. Do you know what I mean? She's not
she'll go back again.
She's not just doing it for like just to do the article for sake. Like she's actually is interested and wants.
I think it's because of like the severity of it. It's not like a couple of weeks on the sideline. It's nearly a year basically out of football, and then a year out of football is quite a long time to sort of. I think it mentally even more than physically sometimes as well. So I think it's just important that people start to understand what it's all about.
Exactly, 100%. Another article that came out, what was the name of it?
Mail Online.
No, what was the name of the actual article?
Oh, it was something like had rats in it. Either way, it was. I found it earlier, and it's basically an eye opener about women's football and what it really is and how far away it is from the men's football.
Yeah, it was called Rats in Their Digs, Jam Sandwiches for Lunch and Playing in Children's Boots Inside the Hidden World of Women's Football.
There you go. We'll put the link in the description. Anyway. I've pulled a few quotes from it. It's by Claire Bloomfield and Ian Herbert, by the way. But it was so interesting, wasn't it, to read through. It had loads of different stages on it. So
it is long, it is long, so
you
need to sit down.
I've got
properly.
A terrible attention span, and even I could read it, so. So basically they had a few different sections, and one was maybe talking about the salary, one was talking about the training facilities, boots, things like that. But it just highlighted how far away it is. We go each week, women's football's going in the right direction. Yeah, it is. But these are the things that need to be sort of addressed first before you can say, here we go.
I think when people point out that women's football is going in the right direction, it's more in terms of attendance. It's
And coverage.
And coverage of the match.
100%.
No one looks at the behind the scenes of, well, how much are they getting paid? Where did they train? Where did they live? How did they afford to live? If like the basic salary for some football clubs is 20,000 a year.
Yeah.
Now,
The top
us
tier
two-
has gone up to 36.
us two as graduates come May could go straight into a job and earn 20 grand a year.
Yeah.
They've worked their whole life to get to the top tier
Sacrificed so much.
of
yeah.
like women's football, and they're only getting 20 grand a year.
Yeah. Well, it's even things like food and catering.
Yeah.
If you go to Melwood, you get all your food free. You tell them what you want, they make it for you. Birmingham have to bring their own packed lunch to training. There's no catering facilities for them to make anything or
There's
get
no
given
fridge.
anything there. No fridge, nothing. Spurs told their players from the get-go that there'd be no catering,
no catering.
nothing for you.
To be
So it's
fair,
like, what?
For Liverpool, they do get food.
Liverpool do, but it's the clubs. So Spurs have only just come up to the
Yeah,
top league,
yeah.
so it's clubs like that. But even we're talking championship level, championship teams still get all that, don't
Yeah,
they? The other thing, obviously, we've talked about the pain, but obviously that thing that happened with Liverpool women, not this season but last season, they all had to change their accommodation because boilers were breaking. There was no hot water.
Some of them didn't even have beds.
Some of them didn't have beds, so they got moved into the city centre in that massive apartment
It's really
block.
nice.
It is very nice, but it's like that they got put into a place that wasn't even really that livable.
Yeah.
So and while still having to play football each day
For like
whatever.
Liverpool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's these are, I'm just reading off some things that were in the article. An ex-Brighton player described that their house had a rat problem.
Yeah.
So there's rats doing that, which is disgusting. And a player from Southampton who are in the third tier reported that there's been mice in their accommodation.
Yeah.
So that's just disgusting.
I seen one before, and it was it didn't say what team she played for, but it was like a footballer that took a 60 grand a year pay cut in
Yeah.
order to play football professionally for like
Yeah.
a little bit, and like, you know, they've sacrificed doing that so they can do something that they actually love to do. But realistically, her dream of playing professional football could have been given up just for the money
100%.
money side of things, and like
It opens your eye a lot, and then obviously like the final one is we're talking about Man United here,
Yeah.
one of the biggest clubs in the country, realistically, and
In
the
the
women's
world.
team is doing in the world. The women's team is doing good as well.
yeah,
So Man United women don't actually play at United facilities. They play at that Lee Sports Village, which is the rugby ground.
yeah.
And they share their fitness centre with the public.
It's just a gym, isn't
It's
it?
a gym. They
Yeah.
don't have any sort of branding in it. Like when you go to Melwood, it's got the separate room with all like the graffiti
even when
and
you go
stuff
to,
on the wall.
Tranmere now.
They've got.
like,
I
they've
think
got
it's
their own-
shared with Tranmere.
Yeah, but they've got their own changing rooms, haven't they now, and all
exactly. But they share it with the public.
that. Yeah,
They're a full-time football team that share their gym facilities with just your average Joe. And I know
Yeah.
that sounds bad to say, but in the world of what football is at the moment, that's
but then
crazy.
not even that far away is Cannington, where Man United train.
And
That
they
has
don't
like
get to use it.
the best pitches, the top quality stuff,
Yeah.
like everything you could possibly ask for. And it's the same with us, the same at Liverpool. Like we've mentioned it a few times on here, but the whole Kirby training facility that's being built is just for the first team, under 23s, under 18s, all them. It's just for them. The women have absolutely no part of that whatsoever. But then you've got a perfectly good facility of Melwood there that they're just going to knock down and build houses on, which will benefit people, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
it will, because people need somewhere to live. But then you've got a training facility there that is Liverpool, that you can go to the women's team. Yeah, it is help your academy. All
even the
that
young
type of
girls
stuff.
academy, you know, the Liverpool like under 15s, 16s, even lower like 13s, they train at Otterspall Park,
Oh yeah.
which is obviously the home of where Liverpool Feds is, but
Yeah.
they train there. No Liverpool branding or anything goes on. They just turn up and play.
Yeah.
And
But
it's like, well,
imagine,
that's
like-
fair enough, but also imagine being able to go to Melwood and
Exactly.
the kids are training at Melwood, getting a feel of what it actually feels like to be
Yeah.
a part of the club,
Yeah.
rather than just saying, "Oh, I play for Liverpool, but I train Jericho Lane
Yeah,
sort of stuff.
literally. Like, there's just so many things that, like, that's when people say, oh, women's football is growing. Yeah, it might be growing in terms of TV audience and attendance and match coverage from, like, BBC and stuff like that, but the sport's just going to stay where it is. The level of players might not get any better. So how are you supposed to get your next Hegerberg, your next Lucy Bronzes, your next all those type of people if it just stays the same? If it's just like,
there needs to be some sort of investment, not just in the Arsenals, the Chelseas, the Man United.
it needs to be all over the country.
It needs to be throughout the whole of.
Yeah.
And that starts at grassroots level. It does.
Yeah.
And I know, like, there are being advancements in it and around it, and there are being changes made to sort of improve the opportunities for young girls in sport. Like, even from when we were kids, the amount of opportunities for girls as actual girls teams is so much more, even like as I said when we were little. So I think it will grow, but then also if you look at some of the championship teams, they're not even getting enough. Yeovil, for example, they literally went from tier 1 to about tier 3 or 4.
Yeah, because they couldn't afford it
and
anymore.
they couldn't even afford the championship.
Yeah.
So there is a lot to do. Don't get me wrong, it sounds like we're moaning like, oh, nothing's ever good. Like, that's not the point. Things are good in terms of BBC announcing that they're going to be doing the She Believes again, the Olympics, blah, 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 blah.
Like deadline
like
days
that.
being covered on Sky and
exactly,
stuff like that.
There's so many good things about it, but I do think people also need to think what's going on behind the scenes, but things like that.
Yeah, there's one, I mean, it sort of ties in, but it doesn't. But, like, obviously USA are doing their Olympic qualifiers now. The first game was last night. But up until, like, I think it was the day before, so not yesterday, what day are we on, Wednesday? Monday or Sunday it might have been announced. It wasn't being shown on TV. That's like back-to-back 4-time World Cup winners, and the Olympic qualifiers for the Olympics aren't even being shown on TV. They are now. Fox Sports came out and said, oh, we'll do it.
But it's like, oh, we'll just pick it up then, won't we?
Yeah, it's literally just showing the game, and then that's it. Yeah. There's no, like, there's no coverage before, there's no coverage afterwards. There'll probably be something at half-time, probably. But, like, that, to me, like, so there's not anyone in America who wants to watch it.
No, and there is.
I think it was being shown on YouTube, but, like, what, like, in terms of...
You need it on mainstream television.
Yeah, exactly, mainstream TV, like, that's the big point at the minute for women's football. It's, like, get more games shown live. Yeah. And, like, BT have done that quite good recently.
BT and BBC have been all
They had Arsenal Chelsea on last week. Our game at Arsenal's on there on the Thursday night.
Oh,
yeah. So it's slowly progressing. Yeah. It is. And one day we'll get there.
One day we will get there.
Yeah.
Pretty much it.
Pretty much it. We've had our moan. We've had our weekly moan. We're all right now. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, like I said, I'll be doing a build-up video with Craig tomorrow, so that'll be out Friday. And then we will both be at the game against Birmingham on Sunday, so keep your eyes peeled for all post-match stuff there. But yeah, thanks for watching. Remember to like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you all soon with a new video. Ta-ra.